Hey guys, this is Priven. It has been a long time since I have done a battle report. A lot has happened in my life. I moved, I got a new job, just honestly kind of took a break from the hobby, if I'm being 100% completely honest with you guys. But yeah, I apologize for those that have enjoyed my battle reports and been like, why doesn't he do them anymore? Is he alive? Is he dead? Well, I'm back, and we'll try to get back into it. Before I get into it, though, I guess talking a little bit about, the rumors that have been going on with Warhammer Fantasy. That's also kind of kept me away, heard the horror stories of them completely getting rid of the square formations and, making it, a small skirmish battle. I've heard of them getting rid of every single race, but, elves and demons and warriors of chaos. I mean, and granted, I shouldn't let rumors get the better of me, but, it is Games Workshop. They have done some crazy stuff in 40k and in fantasy. Though, I will say, the End Times books are pretty interesting. Not completely a big fan on some of the magic that comes from them, like Nagash, for example, who's completely broken. And then, of course, the Demon King book for Nurgle. But anyway, yeah, just kind of my thoughts on that. I might make a video kind of giving more detail, and we can kind of analyze it and stuff like that. But, so, we're going to get into this battle report that I actually fought Chaos Dwarves. Very first time I fought Chaos Dwarves. A magnificent looking army. It still puts mine to shame. The only thing that's really painted of my army that, you might see differently are I have 5 new Reavers, and I actually think they're painted really well. You guys can tell me that. I have been playing some 40k. My orcs are looking really good. I actually will be posting a Warhammer 40k battle report. For those of y'all who are really hardcore about fantasy, I'm still going to play fantasy, but I'm going to post both. Because I do like both games, and just with what could potentially happen to fantasy, I'm kind of shifting a little bit towards 40k. But anyway, fought the Chaos Dwarves and 2,500 point game, so let's take a look. Alright, so here are my High Elf Spearmen. I had 40 of them in this list, standard discipline with full command. I pretty much always take Spearmen. I think I've talked previously in my other battle reports video, archers, sea guards, spearmen. Spearmen are just better. They're cheaper. With what Steadfast can do for you in this edition, they're just almost an auto take for troops. You can do some nifty things with sea guards and stuff, but I like my spearmen. Alright, there are the Reavers, the 5 fully painted ones on the right. I really like the horse snouts. It's kind of got that milky kind of skin color that was kind of annoying to get pulled off. And I'll talk a little bit about them. The green on their feathers is supposed to represent in my army Vetritsi. So the champion, his helmet is almost completely green on his feathers. So, he's gone through most of his blues, been through battles, he's experienced, which is why he's the champion of that unit. And then the rest of them have, they have a little bit of green on them. So pretty much the longer they survive, the more battles they do, in my fluff in my army, the feathers will slowly go green. Got to paint the other 5. That will probably be my next project I work on. But yeah, Reavers, full command. They got spears and bows. I like having full command. I just like having a champion, because, you never know when you might need that challenge. I have a couple players that said, you're wasting points giving full command to chaff. But, I don't know. It's kind of cool to, have a champion or have that, opportunity to do a challenge. So, blurry picture. Tried to get up a close shot on them. Yeah, I'm really proud of them. Alright, High Elf Force number 4. We have Swordmasters in there, and I'll eventually get to paint them. Some Sea Guard proxies. All these are being proxied as Phoenix Guard. They are Phoenix Guard, okay? They got the Razor Standard. I did not take Banner of the Royal Dragon because, I figured, like I said, I was a complete noob in this battle. Though I think I chose correctly with the Razored Standard. Fighting against Dwarves, especially Chaos Dwarves, I figured that they would pretty much have a really good armor save. Phoenix Guards have halberds, so they're strength 4, with the Razor Standard. Effectively with armor piercing, effectively they're going to be strength 5. They can do some good damage, and there are, I think there's 35 of them. It was 35 or 40. It was a lot. I think it was 35. So pretty much, they have a 4-up ward save. They're immune to fear. With their armor, they have a nice better ward save against fire attacks. So pretty much they were the heart of the army. Got the bolt throwers there. Still need to paint that third one. Took 3 bolt throwers. I think they're great. 70 points now in the new codex. You play high elves, you should really mess around with them. They're pretty good artillery, and they won't blow up. Of course, I got to take my Frostheart Phoenix. Around 240 points. It's got a ward save. Strength 6, toughness 6. It's a monster, so it's got thunder stomps. Depending on what I roll on the Winds of Magic, its ward save can get better. And, has that awesome aura. Whatever it touches always strikes last, and, it reduces their strength by 1. Love that bird. Alright, characters. Alright, the Ugly Hideous Mage, as y'all maybe remember, on the right is a level 2 mage, and I chose the Lore of Metal for this game. This was a completely new game for me. I've never taken the Lore of Metal before. I've never fought in Chaos Dwarves before, so it was honestly just a game for fun. Both me and my opponent agreed we're not going to really take cheesy lists. We're just going to kind of take some fun stuff. But he's a level 2. He has a Dispel Scroll, and I gave him the Reign of Cain just for some fluff purposes. Might be able to make that ward save a 3-up instead of a 4-up, because of high elf magic. The Archmage in the middle is my general. He's a level 4. He's got the Talisman of Preservation. He's got the Book of Hoeth, and he is also Lore of Metal. The BSB to the left, the Noble, he's got the Golden Crown for the 2-up ward save. He's got the Shield of Merowyn, so he has a nice 4-up ward save in close combat. He's got high weapon skill, 3 attacks. He's kind of a tank. So, I'm going to use him in challenges. Hopefully he can absorb some hits, not get himself killed, and we'll see where it goes from there. Alright, so Chaos Dwarves. I actually have his list because I have no idea what this stuff is. He sent it to me. So let's look at it, and then we'll look at the pictures. Okay. So for his lords, he has a Sorcerer's Prophet, the Blood of Hashnut, Dispel Scroll, Dragon Helm, it's level 4. It's got the Talisman of Preservation. It's pretty much a wet dream for me. A mage that is awesome in close combat. I was really jealous. His heroes, he's got a Demonsmith Sorcerer. He has the Chalice of Blood, which is so broken. It's really good. It definitely affected the game a lot. And Darkness, I'm not sure what Darkness was. No, it's not his Dispel Scroll. But anyway, yeah, anyway, level 2, Lore of Metal. So he's got a Lore of Metal as well, and the Lore of Hashnut, which I was actually a bit surprised, because, dwarves aren't supposed to be really magic-y at all, and yet the Chaos Dwarves were, their magic lore was pretty good. Infernal Castellan, I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. That's a standard bearer. It's got the Mask of the Furnace. Its core, 24 Chaos Dwarf Infernal Guards. These guys are nasty, and as I found out in the game. They're stubborn, they have a high leadership. He gave them all blunderbuss, so pretty much not only do they have close combat weapons and shields, they have guns on their backs, so they can spin around and shoot at you. They got the Banner of Swiftness, because, dwarfs are slow. He's got 30 Hobgoblin Cutthroats, Musician, Standard Bearer. They got bows. Pretty much just kind of slaves, is how he explained it to me in their society. They're special. 4 Bull Centaur Renders, full command. They got great weapons, so I think he said it's Strength 7, because they were Strength 5 on their stats. Great weapon make them Strength 7. So they can hit pretty hard. Standard Discipline, try to help their leadership. The Death Shrieker Rocket, cool artillery piece. He's got the Iron Demon, which is this big kind of tank thing that rolls around. It's almost kind of like a steam tank for that Empire have, but it was much more nasty. And he's got the Magma Cannon, which was devastating. And then for his raid unit, he's got the Kadai Destroyer, which is this big freaking giant fiery monster thing that's terrifying. And let's take a look at him. So those are his centaurs, and I'm just going to give him props right now. He completely based this stuff, paint them. A couple of his models, he actually molded, like he made them from scratch himself, because, Chaos Dwarves are kind of hard to find, and they're expensive. I'm not sure, that Cod Destroyer, I'm not sure if it's that big, or if he made it bigger, but it's beautiful. Puts my army to shame. There are the Hobgoblins. They look funny. I like them, because I play orcs in 40k, so I have a thing for goblins or orcs. Blurry picture, that's his troops, his dwarves. Apologize for some of these pictures. I'm kind of rusty. Alright, his artillery stuff. The Empire steam tank is being proxied. I think he actually stuck a little goblin guy up there, though, to kind of, signify that it's, the other engine thing. Yeah, there's the crew, the magma cannon on the right, and then the other thing that I forgot. Yeah, pretty dwarf shooting. Yeah, artillery, it's going to be painful. Alright, and a cool looking base for all his characters. Is basically Sorcerer, his BSB, and, his level 2. Really like that stand for him. Alright, so the battlefield. Alright, excuse me, I was taking a drink. Got a new playmat. I got it from Battle Frontline Gaming. It's really cool. They sell a lot of pre-made playmats. It's basically the material what your mouse pad is typically made of, so it's real sturdy. Highly recommend you guys checking them out. So we kind of played in a wasteland kind of scenario, just a pitch battle, 2,500 points. Those hills were unpassable. The tower, you could technically go in it if you wanted to, but it was just, it's like the High Elves were invading the lands of the Chaos Dwarves. It was kind of the scenario. So High Elf deployment, I'll kind of go through my mindset here. Pretty much when I deployed, put my Reavers on the flanks like I always do, and I spread out my bolt throwers intentionally, because so many times, when I group them up, when he charges one, he'll overrun into the other and, basically wipe all of them out. That's happened to me with several of my opponents. So I've split them up. Tell me if you think that's a good strategy or not. Put the Phoenix Guard bunker, didn't put them in horde formation. Really wanted to have that steadfast. Put all the characters in the bunker, so, they're pretty well protected. My level 4 general, he's in the second rank. The full command's up front with the BSB in the level 2, so my general's even protected. The Frostheart's right next to the BSB. The Spearmen are also to the right of the Phoenix. So everything that's important is in the bubble of the BSB. So, with his artillery, if he does cause a panic check, I'll have a reroll. That's always important to have. Chaos Dwarfs deployment. He pretty much put the big guy on the left, and I think what his intention was to basically use that as a freaking glass cannon and slam into my flank. And I won't give any spoilers if that worked or not, but, good strategy on his part. Kind of put the chaff goblins in the middle there. He's going to be trying to pepper my ranks with arrows. They're not really good shots. I'm not too concerned about them. What I am concerned about is his freaking magma cannon and the other thing he has. Yeah, I mean, I could sit back and we could have an artillery war, because I was out of the range of his magma cannon, which was, I think it was 30 inches or something like that. But, I really kind of wanted to bring the fight to him, so, I was going to be aggressive this game. And, of course, his, I'll just call it the steam tank, and the centaurs are off to the right. Yeah, that thing is just so beautifully painted, but it was terrifying. It has, like, frenzy, and, like, it gets, like, 6 or 8 attacks on the charge. When it gets in close combat with something, it does, like, D3 or D6 strength 4 fire attacks. It has Thunder Stomp. I mean, the thing is freaking ridiculous. Alright, on the left flank, really good view there. He really positioned his battle line really good. He's got, the centaurs on the right, the big, ugly giant on the left. He really, could just slam into both my flanks and just, try to kill me. And, of course, in the center, a very tempting target of the goblins for me to go at. And, of course, his dwarf warriors. Alright, so High Elf Vanguard. So I Vanguard towards the big giants. Bit cautious. I'm within charge distance of him, but I'm about 9 or 10 inches out, so, you know, I don't think he'll make that charge, but knowing my luck, it could happen. Vanguard over there, so pretty much my strategy or way of thinking is I'm going to try to keep the big things busy, and they can chase the pretty horses and try to eat them, while my main army tries to destroy his center. I need to destroy the center of the dwarf line before his big stuff can flank me. That's just pretty much was my game point at this point. So movement, that's what I'm doing. High Elves all move forward, Frostheart, you know, Phoenix Guard, Spearmen. Alright, my first magic phase. That's what I get. I'm off to a great start. I'm happy with that. But he used his Dispel Scroll, and, you know, he was able to stop the other one, so it wasn't really a good magic phase, but I got rid of his scroll by turn 1, so I was pleased with that, I guess. You know, I wanted to see what metal could do. Alright, so my Ballista opened fire. You know, trying to weaken the bulls, maybe kill one, make them take a leadership test. You know, and they both miss, and that's him giving the thumbs down. He was happy. I was kind of sad, and, you know, pretty much, I do this a lot. I really rely on my bolt throwers, and when I do that, they let me down. So, alright, so, Chaos Dwarfs turn 1, and I'll go ahead and say if there's not a magic phase, or if something seems like it's missing, that's because I didn't take pictures, because either I scrolled something in his magic phase, or just nothing really happened, and we just kind of kept going. So, you know, if you kind of get confused, I apologize. So, this game was pretty quick. Alright, so turn 1, he tries to charge the Reavers. I decide to stand and shoot. Like I said, he's 9 or 10 inches out. The Reavers can't shoot worth crap. I guess they're afraid. But he failed his charge, so he did not get his 9, what he needed. So, I was happy with that. So, right now, you know, kind of getting close. I know he's going to get at least a round of shooting with his artillery. Hopefully it won't be too devastating, but we'll see. Alright, you know, the other Reavers, you know, they withstood the charge. They failed. Oh, excuse me, the Giant failed. That was, yeah, like I said, some of the pictures are confusing. So, pretty much, he failed his charge on the big Giant, which I was so happy about. The Bulls were charging the Reavers, and they also failed the charge. I think he needed a 10. He rolled a 9. So, of course, they stand and shoot. They don't do anything. But his flank is exposed to the Frostheart, which was a very, you know, a very pleasing target. And here comes Big Lumberin' Bubba. He's pretty dumb. He explained to me he doesn't really have a high IQ. He just smashes things with the big mace. So, pretty much kind of a wasted turn on his part with both his big things. He moves the goblins up, of course. And he starts shooting at the spearmen. He kills 2, you know. I'm like, okay, that's not too bad of shooting. And, yeah, obviously we skipped his magic phase. Pretty much what he did is, if I can remember correctly, I scrolled this big ash storm that he tried to do, and then I was able to stop his other spell. But yeah, it was both our magic phases, so I used my Dispel Scroll turn 1 as well. Alright, goblins continue to shoot, you know, got a 5-up armor save, you know, I think he was hitting me on 4s or 5s, wounded me on 4s, and then I had a 5-up save. You know, moves his dwarf infantry up. I honestly did not know how it was going to go with these guys. Never fought them before, you know, so I just assumed that they're going to be kind of tough to go through, but, you know, confident that my Phoenix Guard can get through them. You know, he moves his little tank up, he shoots at the Frostheart with it, he puts two wounds on her, bit worried, but, you know what, I had the opportunity, now I have a choice, I could either charge the tank, or the Centaurs, I could fly over it, and still get a flank charge on the Centaurs. His magma cannon fires. This thing was ridiculous. So pretty much the template weapon, you roll the artillery dice, you know, it moves that far, and then you drop the flame template. And, yeah, he dropped it right on the middle of my spearmen, and it literally killed over half. Like, that's how many it killed. It was, you know, it was brutal. Yeah, so, I mean, even though these guys are Chaos Dwarves, they're still Dwarves. But, I mean, you know, I knew that was going to happen, I just didn't think it was going to be that effective. So, you know, Got to keep moving the guard up. He's kind of the blunderbuss. Start shooting the guard. Kill 3 of them. You know, I have to take a pet leadership test because he killed so many spearmen. They pass. You know, 4. So they're holding that line, which I'm thankful for. Alright, so High Elf turn 2. So I do a dual charge. Looking back on this, I think it was probably a mistake. Probably should not have sent the spearmen in there because all I'm doing now is giving him more easy wounds for combat resolution. I'm really rusty. I have not played a fantasy game since the last time I posted a fantasy game battle report, which was like, look at my channel. You know, when was the last time I posted a video? It's been a long time. So I was really rusty this game. I made a lot of mistakes, as we'll analyze and I'll reveal. And I hope you guys point them out too. So I did a dual charge. You know, I really kind of panicked with the magma cannon. I wanted to get the spearmen. You know, I didn't want them to be shot at anymore. If he took that many out in one blow, you know, they'd be gone in another round of shooting. So, send them in. It's a nice, beautiful shot there with my ugly sword masters and the spearmen and the beautifully painted dwarves. Thought it was cool, though, looking. Alright, the Frostheart makes its charge into the flanks of the bulls. I am so confident about that fight. Those bulls are finished, I feel. You know, got the charge, got the flank. I'm definitely going to put some wounds on them. Yeah, those things are in trouble. Alright, move my Reavers around, move them to the right. I'm really hoping that he's going to continue to chase the Reavers. He's an experienced player, though, so it was a long shot. Thinking about it, maybe I should have just left him out there so he could have kept charging at him. You know, we'll see about it. The other Reavers I move around, and what I'm planning to do with them is, hopefully in a turn or so, I can try to get his artillery, you know, sweep them away, if they don't die. Alright, that's their goal. Get rid of those things. Alright, so pretty much High Elf turn 2 magic. You know, he got 2 6s. I mean, I had a pretty good roll right there, and he just shut it down. Tried to do Enchanted Blades, which is a pretty cool spell. I like that one. I do get Plague of Rust off on his Dwarf Warriors, which was nice. So basically, his 3-up armor save goes to a 4-up permanently for the rest of the game. And I put on Transmutation of Lead, which basically makes, you know, just for this turn, you know, he gets a -1 penalty to his weapon skill, and his armor saves, you know, take a -1 as well. So, you know, he's up to a 5-up now on that unit. And so with the Razor standard, you know, go to a 6-up, and then my Strength 4 will pretty much make the armor save go away. So he won't get any armor, but he will get his parry save. So, alright, so Ballista's got to do something. So they open fire. I change targets since the bulls are in combat. And I shoot at Big Bubba, and I actually, you know, do 2 wounds on him, which I was happy about. You know, slowly dwindling him down. It has 6 wounds, so got a lot to go through. Yep, Frostheart wins combat. Knew that it would, and I catch the bulls and I kill them in my sweep and advance. You know, it overruns. I was pleased with that. You know, I probably could have let the bulls run towards the table edge, and they might have gone off, but you know, there was a possibility they wouldn't, and I wanted to catch and kill that unit. So, and now that I feel confident that on the left flank, you know, I don't have to worry about something crashing into me. But those things might start shooting at the Frostheart, which I'm a bit worried about. Alright, oh, that's a repeat picture. I apologize. Okay. Okay, there we go. I'm sorry. I had 2 pictures that were already in there for some reason. Alright, like I said, rusty. Pardon the pun. Alright, so pretty much he issues a challenge with his Killy Wizard. I hurl my Spearman Champion like a lamb to the slaughter. You know, just go ahead and fight him. You know, he accepts the challenge, but he dies horribly. I don't even put a wound on him. You know, even though I had always strikes first, I was hoping I could do something. It didn't happen. You know, Spearmen are starting to get killed. And this is my mistake. I just basically gave him, you know, 4 basically points of combat res by getting those Spearmen in there. So, yeah, and that's the problem with multi-combats. and that's something I struggle with. I'm almost like a noob when it comes to it. You know, you automatically think, oh, more numbers and more units engaged is better, and that's not always the case. Sometimes it actually makes things worse. But if you look at his losses, he lost quite a bit. I think he lost like close to 7 or 8. You know, I got the charge, or BSB and banner cancel out. And I'm not sure if, you know, if I would have +1 more banner, because I had my Spearman had a banner, and my Phoenix Guard had a banner. That was something I probably should have asked him. So if you guys know, in a multi-combat, do you just keep adding the banners, or do you only add the banners one time towards combat resolution? I'll have to look that up in the rulebook. But if so, it really wouldn't have mattered, because that dwarf unit was stubborn, and I found this out after I got in close combat with them. So it didn't really matter how much I beat him by. I was literally going to have to kill these guys down to the last man, and I was thinking, oh, great. So, end of High Elf turn 2. I'm stuck in the middle. Even though my Frost Heart had a pretty good victory, that tank and the artillery, you know, they're going to cause it problems. That big giant thing, though, that, you know, I'm really worried about that, so my bolt throwers are going to start focusing on that, and they need to take it down. It has no armor save. It won't get one anyway from the big bolts, but it has a 4-up ward save, because I think it's a demon or something. Alright, so he charges. He described this thing as like the Empire Steam Tank. You know, it gets a free wheel and then generates certain dice. So basically what it did there was, you know, charge the rear of my Frost Heart, and if you charge the rear of a Frost Heart Phoenix, if you don't know this, you're in trouble, because that's how you beat these things. You beat this thing through combat resolution, and you basically make it fail its leadership test, and then you run it down. So I was kind of upset about that. Alright, he does exactly what I was afraid of. Not only did he ignore the Reavers, he ignored the Bolt Throwers. You know, my opponent, he's an experienced player. You know, he's been playing a lot more than I have lately, and he basically is bringing that guy around to slam right into the rear of the main battle line, which is what, you know, I was trying to avoid the whole time. So he turns and shoots, and that's pretty much the only thing he can shoot at. I guess he could have shot at my bolt throwers, but I guess he wanted to try to get the Reavers, and they run off the board. So, you know, yay. They're cowards. Anyway, alright, so Dwarf Combat, he puts a wound on only one wound on my Frost Heart Phoenix. You know, the gods were smiling on me or something, because I only rolled, you know, a 4 out of 3 dice. So I don't go off the table. You know, but between the charge, the rear charge, and the wound, obviously he wins combat. I had to take a leadership test, and I failed it, and so I thought I was going to lose the Frost Heart, but it stayed on the table, thankfully. So the main battle's going on. You know, he got his goblins in also. Didn't get that picture in, but they came in on the flank. Looking at this picture now, I know you get a free pivot on a charge, but if those hills were impassable, could he have done that? I don't really know. I guess it doesn't matter now in the grand scheme of things. You know, goblins, but, you know, it's going to give him the flank. You know, it's going to add some more combat resolution points. It's not looking good for the High Elves. So, end of Chaos Dwarfs turn 2. Yeah, my bolt throwers need to kill the giant. That has to happen. They have to kill the stupid giant thing. If that thing comes into the rear of me, I will not be able to hold. My Frost Heart needs to rally and keep fighting to keep that tank busy on that side. And then the Reavers by the tower, you know, I could swing around and try to go for the artillery, but at this point I was keeping them back there, so I wouldn't give them any more points. So they were just kind of chilling. They kind of did their job keeping the big guy busy for a turn. My Phoenix does rally. That was huge. I was very thankful. Granted, he's leadership 9, but, I mean, you know, he could have failed it. The way my dice were rolling, I wouldn't be surprised if he failed it, so he rallied. Alright, I shoot at the big guy, and they all miss, and it's just, you know, they all miss 2 2s and a 1. I think 2 of them needed 3s. Like, those 2 2s right there, they just needed to be 3s. He was within my short range of shooting, yet I get 2s. Yeah. So, at this point, I kind of felt where the game was going at this point. So at this point, I got nothing to lose, except the game itself, I reckon. So I send my BSB out, to accept his challenge. My BSB's killy. He'll have he'll have higher weapon skill than a sorcerer. Maybe he'll have a chance to put some wounds on his general. If I can kill his general, that will get me some points, and also some bragging rights. So, the Spearmen continue to dwindle. He kills my level 2 mage in combat, puts a lot of attacks on him. It's really funny, though. Unfortunately, the camera didn't capture this. The combat round before, he put like 5 or 6 attacks from his warriors on the mage. They all missed. He rolled all 1s and 2s, and so I was just picturing in my head that this little mage in these robes just ducking and dodging, avoiding these big axes. I thought it was funny. So, end of High Elf turn 3. I'm going through his warriors. My Spearmen aren't doing crap to the Goblins. I'm just not getting hits, really. And, looking at this now, like I said, I haven't played in so long. I should have tried to do a reform on my Spearmen, take a leadership test, pass it, and then just face the Goblins. But I'm kind of dusty on the rules there. Can I do a reform? Because that would kind of take me out of combat with the Dwarf Warriors. I'm not sure if I would be allowed to do that, and so if you guys want to comment and kind of answer that question for me, I'd appreciate it. Yeah, it's just kind of a bog slugfest over there. So, yep, by the Phoenix, just pray to my gods. He gets in. He kind of makes a mistake here, in my opinion. He goes into the flank of the Phoenix Guard, and simply because the Phoenix Guard, not only do they have their 2-up ward against fire attacks, but they have their 4-up against normal attacks. So, granted, he's in the flank, but, if I was him, I would have tried to maybe finish off the Spearmen, or get in the rear of the Spearmen, but it's not looking good, regardless. If you look at that picture, though, most his Dwarf Warriors are gone. I think he has like 2 or 3 against the Spearmen, and of course he has his general. So I'm eating through his stuff. It's just to the point where it might be too late. And of course the tank and the Phoenix are fighting now. My Spearmen continue to hold. God bless them. Bless the common elf. My BSB, even though he wounded the general, he has 3 wounds, put 2 wounds on him, which was awesome. I think he survived 2 rounds of combat. He only has 2 wounds himself, though, so he was able, he failed his ward save, and, I think I popped the golden crown when he tried to do, darkness, which was an item, to try to do damage to me. He did what he was supposed to do, but now I don't have a reroll, when I lose combat, which is, yeah. So, the end of combat, I lose. Just, he got the charge, he's in my flank, and then some. He still has his BSB, I don't have my BSB. So, I put some wounds on his big giant, though. He has 1 wound left. 1. See that 5 right there? So, if I can make my leadership test, I could kill the giant. I'm pretty confident now I can put all these attacks on, the general and maybe get rid of him. Sure, he'll still have his goblins left, but this Phoenix Guard could go right through him, so I was getting a little bit hopeful. But I roll a 10 on my leadership, and, I don't have my BSB, so I can't reroll it. And at that point, I just shake his hand and call the game because my other opponent for Warhammer 40k was there, and he was watching this, and it was kind of embarrassing. I was getting my butt kicked. But yeah, I had a fun game. It was a pretty quick game. I think it lasted about 2 hours. Ended full 3 turns. A lot happened in each of our turns. But for the most part, it was fun fighting the Chaos Dwarves. Never fought them before. I can see why in many tournaments they restrict what you take. They're very powerful. You're basically combining Dwarves and Warriors of Chaos into one, almost like a hybrid army, which is a cool concept, don't get me wrong, I'm not bashing the army. Love it for its fluff purposes, but for game mechanics, ugh, it's brutal. Though it was fun to fight. Definitely want a rematch, since I kind of know what they kind of do now. And of course, for my MVP, I gotta give it to my Frostheart. It's the only thing that really did anything. It killed the bull centaurs. It rallied and stayed on the table, and it was turning around, and it was kind of kicking the crap out of the tank, or started to, before the game ended. So, I mean, you know, I give it to the Frostheart most definitely, because it was the only thing that really actually performed well. My bolt throwers failed, the Reavers did mediocre, and of course, the Spearmen and Phoenix Guard, they just kind of got wiped out. So, but anyway, that's the battle reports. I appreciate you guys watching, and, you know, if you are still subscribed, hope you comment on my videos, because all it does when you comment and, you know, give me tips and stuff like that, and just encourages me to make more of these battle reports. I'm going to continue to make them. Like I said, apologies for me falling off the face of the earth. But anyway, it was a fun game, and hope to fight my opponent again. Talk to you guys later.